Hello, guys and gals, and welcome. Welcome to the episode of Unique Items. Today we're going to be looking at another rogue item, and this is called Asheara's Khanjar. Asheara's Khanjar has been a mainstay in the rogue arsenal for quite some time, but as of patch 1.5.0, it's definitely gotten some updates, and we're going to take a look at the new version and see what they've done to it. So first off, the implicit has changed. So instead of it being the normal dagger implicit, it is now 50% enhanced damage, which is an additive bonus, just flat to the item. On top of this, it also has a 638 to 873 life, which is pretty standard across most items. If you ever see an item that has life, it generally tends to be about 873. I don't think I have one on me right now. But 873 is just kind of like the standard de facto amount, so nothing special there. On top of this, we've also got a 6% to 8% increased critical strike chance, which is definitely nice if you're trying to get that critical strike up to a high level. And we have a 6 to 8% lucky hit chance as well, which will definitely help with a lot of those proccing effects. The rogue in particular tends to be very fond of a lot of those proccing effects, so lucky hit will definitely help out the rogue in the long run. We also have +2 to weapon mastery, and weapon mastery is a passive. It is one that doesn't really have a specific purpose. It is dependent on which weapon you're using at any given time. So if you're using a dagger, it's 7% increased damage to healthy and injured. If you're using swords, it's 3% increased damage. It's bows is 4% increased damage to vulnerable enemies, and crossbows is 5% increased critical strike damage, and so forth and so on. So when you're dealing with this particular weapon, since it is a dagger, it's most likely going to be using, obviously, the dagger portion of things. And it'll still help with other things as well. I don't know why I don't have 3 points in that. Probably because in one of my videos I took it out to test something. I need to put that back in. On top of this, we also have the special effect, which is hits with this weapon increase your attack speed by 4 to 8% for 4 seconds, up to a maximum of 40% increased attack speed. Now, hits with this weapon does mean that you actually have to be striking with the dagger. So skills like Heartseeker, Forceful Arrow, Rapid Fire, Penetrating Shot, Barrage, etc. are not really going to work here. Which means that if you're utilizing this dagger, you're going to have to actually be using a skill like, for instance, Twisting Blades, Flurry, Blade Shift, Invigorating Strike, or Puncture to get access to the increased attack speed. No matter how much I use Penetrating Shot, it's not going to give me that increase to attack speed. But as soon as I start using my main ability, you see I've got the increased attack speed per stack, and that's simply just from using Puncture. And then, of course, the thing is that once I have that increased attack speed, it can actually apply to other abilities, like the ranged abilities that can't utilize it. So it's just a flat bonus that is being applied to you if you are using any ability that uses this dagger, and it's actually not bad at all. It's not very hard to stack if you're utilizing Puncture, because Puncture has 3 hits if you're using the triple. And that means that you're going to get 3 stacks basically almost instantly. Whereas if you're using something else, you're not really going to get like the same thing. Like, let me see if I can... there we go. So I just kind of hit like the side of the monster there. I was trying to make sure I didn't stack it up too quickly. It's so easy to get the stacks on the attack speed that it's insane. On top of this, the attack speed that comes from Asheara's Khanjar seems to, I don't know, be in its own bucket, sort of. I don't really know how to explain it. If you take a look at my current attack speed bonus is already at 100%, and that's without the dagger. I'm at 100% without the dagger. And without the dagger, if you look at my how fast I can attack without the dagger, it's pretty fast. However, adding in Asheara's Khanjar and getting that attack speed bonus, you can clearly see a difference in the attack speed that I'm getting, because the attack speed bonus that you're getting from Asheara's Khanjar is actually in a different bucket than the attack speed that you have flat. So there's basically two separate buckets. There's the bucket here, which is this specific bucket of 100% bonus, and then there's a second bucket, which is another 100% bonus, which comes in from like skill effects and things. And when you add in the second 100% bonus, you can actually make yourself even faster. So for instance, I'm currently using the 37.5% increased attack speed on Darl's Visage. I take that off, you notice I'm at 63.3. Right. Well, if we add up on the calculator, 37.5 plus 63.3, you'll see that that would be over 100.8. And I'm also getting an additional increased attack speed from these as well. And you can see that, like, when you start stacking on multiple items, like, let me just put on something dramatic here. Because I do have a couple pairs of Frosties in here that have like 22.5% increased attack speed. Yeah, here we go. So let's put some Frosties on that really beef this up. So you notice that now I'm at 100%, right? And I put on the Frosties that are a lot higher attack speed than the ones I was previously using, and I'm still at 100%. However, when you use Asheara's Khanjar, because Asheara's Khanjar is in a different bucket, let's see if I can do this and actually show you guys at the same time. It's kind of difficult because this panel's in the way. Notice that now I'm at 115% increased attack speed while the Asheara's Khanjar buff is... Actually, hold on. I don't have the Asheara's on. 154% increased attack speed while the Asheara's Khanjar buff is active. So getting to that mystical 200% is possible if you utilize items that can potentially get there. Looks like I'm getting another 15% attack speed bonus from something else as well. Not exactly sure where that's coming from. But that actually does stack above the 100% base.
Mr. Goody Two Shoes, Mr. Goody Two Shoes. Ginger Evil Mentor here. Why bother farming when you can go to MMOEXP.com and simply purchase your items in gold? GGM would have you farm the items. What a pathetic being. Use code GEM Ginger Evil Mentor for 6% off your entire purchase. And don't tell Ginger Gaming Mentor that I was here.
Now, Asheara's Khanjar can be utilized for other items as well, though, and so getting increased attack speed for anything that you're doing is certainly not a terrible idea. For instance, like with my specific build, if I threw Asheara's Khanjar in here, I'm currently using a build that involves around spamming Penetrating Shot as fast as I possibly can. All right, so let's take a look at what it looks like without the Asheara's Khanjar, and then we'll take a look at what it looks like with the Asheara's Khanjar, right? So it's pretty fast. I'm doing a decent amount of damage, but let's throw this in and let's see how much faster I can make it just by simply adding Asheara's in. Now all I have to do is I just got to make sure that I've got the attack speed buff up, right? So it's a 4-second cooldown. I can just look at my bar down here and see that it's running, and I don't really have to like hold down that button or anything. I just got to make sure that I'm using it enough. So I'm getting that 5-second cooldown, and we're just going to spam as fast as we possibly can. I'm going to keep that buff up, and we're going to see if we can do as much damage as we possibly can here. And you notice that, like, the sheer number of attacks that I'm able to make has gone up tremendously because of Asheara's Khanjar. Not sure if you can hear me even over the massive amounts of explosions going on the screen at this particular moment. But all I'm doing literally is just making sure that I'm maintaining the Asheara's Khanjar buff. It's not even really that difficult. The Asheara's Khanjar buff is so easy to maintain with something like Puncture that just 1 or 2 attacks every now and then can definitely make it work. And then you're also getting some additional damage bonuses through the weapon mastery, the lucky hit, and the critical strike chance. It's a very powerful dagger for sure. And quite honestly, it makes its way into a lot of builds if you're trying to get your attack speed up to some ridiculously high levels. When Chaldeum Gates closed, Asheara led her Iron Wolves out of the city, knowing full well they would never return. Instead, they roamed Kyrgyzstan, pledging their blades to any who were in need. Asheara's Khanjar. Now, if you're trying to get your hands on an Asheara's Khanjar, you can always target farm it, and we do have a little target farming tool over here on Diablo 4.life with the target farming uniques. And you just select Rogue, and then go to Asheara's Khanjar, and as you can see, it drops from Lord Zir. So if you're trying to get your hands on that, just check out Lord Zir, see if you can, kill him a couple times, see if you can get yourself your Asheara's Khanjar. Obviously, with this particular one, you're gonna want that attack speed bonus to be at its maximum because that 40% increased attack speed is amazing. Everything else is not really super important to the dagger, but obviously having like greater affixes on any of these would be amazing. Um, but I wouldn't be like too upset if you didn't have the most perfect Asheara's Khanjar ever. Just try and look for that 40% increased and the 8% per attack speed per stack, basically, because that's the best way to go about it. Um, Honestly, it seems like Puncture is one of the easiest ones to get the full bonus on with Asheara's Khanjar because it attacks with 3 blades if you're using the 3 blades, which I think most people are using the 3 blades on Puncture because it's easy to get the vulnerable. But you get basically 3 stacks almost instantaneously. You just fire it, and it's just like as soon as you fire it, you're already at like 4 stacks, and then you fired it again, and you're at 5. It's super easy to get stacks with Puncture. Anyway, as always, I do appreciate you guys and gals joining me for these fun little videos, even when we're just talking about the Asheara's Khanjar. As I go over every single unique in 1.5.0 to, get everything updated to the newest versions, I hope that you guys are enjoying it. And if you are enjoying it, be sure to hit that like button and the subscribe button to support the channel. And as always, keep watching.